everybody. This is Pamela Topjian. I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want to discuss how holistic connections came about. So, sort of the birth of holistic connections. And if you're new to the channel, Holistic Connections is where I invite holistic practitioners on as a guest to speak about what they do in the holistic healing world. And I've been really loving these conversations and learning a lot too, which is so amazing. I love learning about new methods and modalities and practices and new things that people are doing. Or, these are ancient practices, most of these things that people are doing to help others in the holistic healing world are ancient practices, even though they're kind of considered new age or they're alternative practices, and that just means alternative to more typical traditional. See, now traditional is not really the right word because they're the true traditional practices. But what we kind of think of when we think of healing and going to a Western medical doctor and we're not putting them down at all. Much respect for all the doctors out there. But I have even had a couple doctors on who also do more holistic practices. So that's been fun and enlightening as well. But let's talk about how it was born, where it came from, first of all. So I'm a board certified hypnotherapist for now. I have another video about considering stepping away from it, but I still am right now at the time of this recording. And I know it's been so difficult to get the word out there, just basic marketing. Also, there's a pretty bad reputation in a lot of circles around holistic methods and alternative therapies and that. So a lot of this has come from the media or just I don't know. I don't know where. For hypnotherapy in itself, it's a lot of it is from, when I say the media, I'm not talking about social media as much as I'm talking about movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So it's difficult for holistic practitioners to spread the word about what they do, and nobody can tell it better but them themselves, because you can have five different Reiki masters and five different hypnotherapists, and they bring their own special gifts, talents, and skills to what they do. So we might all do things a little differently. And so, it's not every hypnotherapist works the same way. The same with Reiki masters or coaches or, any kind of holistic practitioner. You think about different doctors that you've seen, or different therapists that you've seen. Everyone is a little bit different and brings a big part of who they are into their practice. And you have to really, it takes patience and diligence to find what's right for you, and only you can decide that. So rather than trying to research what kinds of methods are out there, I thought I would give a place to learn about these different practices. So I was kind of searching for something like this, where different holistic practitioners talk about what they do. And sure, a lot of them have their own YouTube channels and their own podcasts, and they have their own websites, a lot of them. Some of them don't. But, you could search one by one. But I think that having one place that you can go and hear from so many different holistic practitioners and different points of view and different methods of doing the same type of practice, I thought when I couldn't find what I was looking for, I thought I can invite some guests on. Why don't I have some people on my YouTube channel? We talk about this. And and another thing about the YouTube channel is, so I was starting out with the YouTube channel doing guided visualizations and guided meditations, and I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do on the YouTube channel, but I started out doing that. And YouTube puts ads in the middle, and that's very disruptive. And I have no control over that until I have many more subscribers and views and all of that. So if you're enjoying this so far, or if you've liked any video on this channel, please subscribe. It really helps. But yeah, so then I was like, what else can I do on the channel to keep it going, since the guided visualizations might not be what brings people and keeps people to the channel, since they're going to have ads in the middle of some of them. Not all of them do, but some of them do, and it's very disruptive. So I was going through some courses for integrative healing arts practitioner, and so I would share some of my own tips. I would share some what I was learning and just some sort of almost practicing as if, the person was my client. And so I shared some of that stuff. I also shared some personal stories and some self-help tips and things like that. And those have their own playlist, and I think it's self-care, self-help, and vlog. Something like that is the playlist, but all those are in there. But yeah, so I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I thought, why not me? Why don't I invite some people on and, see if they'd be interested in coming on and talking about what they do, even on a very small platform. And it just really, it's amazing. I've got, I think, 23 up right now, and I'm posting them once a week. So 23 up, and then I have, I think, 3 or 4 right now waiting to go for the next few weeks. And then I also have guests to have on, um, for the next, I've got quite a few coming up, so that'll take me in for another month or two. So it's really doing well in that regard. Not necessarily with the numbers as of yet, but I know that takes time. But that's part of why I wanted to do this as well, to kind of make people aware that this is out there. I've had different Reiki masters, sound healers, different types of coaches. There's all kinds of coaches out there. It's so cool. And hypnotherapists and ones that do past life regression. And there's all kinds of energy healers. And like I said, a couple doctors were on. Doctors who also practice holistically, naturopathic doctor. Um, there's Ayurvedic practitioners. I even had um, a psychic medium on, and even though she's not necessarily a holistic practitioner, we discussed how what she does helps people to heal, and how it can be very healing to get a reading, and how she works with the light of the world. I loved it so much. And along those same lines, I also had on a shamanic witch she's also is an earth medicine healer and an energy worker. And she was fascinating to listen to. Um, had a homeopathy practitioner. I get caught up on that word. I'm so sorry. All kinds of people that do all kinds of wonderful things in the world, and I'm loving it so much. And I think that you will too. So please check out the playlist, whether you're looking on podcast platforms or on in the channel here on YouTube. Please listen, at least a couple of them. I know you're gonna love it. So I think that sort of answers how it got started. And let me see before I go, what else? Oh, I have I have some music that I'm gonna let the person remain private because they're a very private person and didn't want to get credits for it, not at this time anyway, but they created some music just for Holistic Connections for me. And so I'm gonna try to put that in here somewhere. That'll be a learning curve for me as well, because I'm still learning editing and about the thumbnails and about but how it looks from the playlist compared to the podcast platforms and that. So I'm still learning. This has all come pretty quickly for me. I didn't expect it to be as popular. I didn't expect to do 20 something and have 10 more lined up. So, it's quickly growing. And I did not expect that. And I always said that I wasn't interested in having a podcast. I was just doing the YouTube channel. And so many people were calling it a podcast. And once I started taking guests, they started calling it a podcast. And I know that the lines are blurring now between podcasts and, traditional podcasting that is just on these podcast platforms, just audio. The lines are blurring there a little bit because even Spotify offers a video. And so they technically weren't wrong, but I didn't feel like it was a proper podcast, just being on YouTube. So then I was like, well, I'll look into maybe putting it out there on the podcast platforms. And, um, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm just doing it. So all the recordings are there, like I said, not the first 10. The first 10 are in the playlist on YouTube only. So I apologize to my first 10 guests, and maybe someday I'll be able to put them up there. So I think that's it. And if you have any questions or if you have another topic that you'd like me to discuss on here, I love taking your suggestions and getting your feedback. So thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy Holistic Connections as much as I do.
They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. I say the mind is a bridge between spirit and body. Let's talk about being whole. So let's heal, let's learn, let's grow, let's grow, let's grow, let's heal, let's be real and become whole, and become whole. This is holistic connections, holistic connections. Holistic connections. La 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 la. This is holistic.